Message is Shield of Edom. Everybody say Shield of Edom. Now, this is coming from actually the term Rothschild, and we're going to talk about that today. We've kind of been on a series after the Epstein Files release on Epstein and the end times and the synagogue of Satan. And this is a continuation of that series where we'll be discussing these connections. In fact, if you don't know this, in the Epstein emails, Epstein wrote Peter Thiel, who is the founder of Palantir, the surveillance company that's going to play a major role here in these last days. And he said, as you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. And that's a very key piece of information, because what that means is there is a hierarchy to this synagogue of Satan and to these group of people who are serving the devil here on earth and creating a vast network, right? How is the Antichrist going to obtain control of such a large portion of the earth? Well, there's a lot of groundwork that has to be done in advance. The surname Rothschild originates from German, meaning red shield. Now, most people know that, okay? Most people realize that the Rothschilds are Ashkenazis, they're German Jews.
Shalom. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Ba'asham, Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere camp. Yeah, I was a little loud there, Slakia. This is your brother Abawan once again with another video. Honor, praises, and glory is due, and I was going to let this video play a little longer, but there's nothing much else to say. And I believe the elder Malcolm has also done a video on this guy right here. So you have this Richie Tidwell or something like that. I don't know really what his name is, right? So he's basically speaking about, Rothschild, the shield of Edom, basically connecting the Rothschild family to the Edomites, right? And you can clearly see that even the people of this world, even the Babylonians, are beginning to make the connection of the families of Esau, Edom still existing on the earth, right? But as you know with the devil, as you know with Esau, Edom, right? With one truth comes three lies. So these devils will tell you the truth, but of course they will not give you the whole truth, because even with the truth they still have to mix in lies. So let's go to that real quick. 3:25, right? Let's get that. I always like to keep timestamps of these things.
You learned about the Canaanites and how the DNA of the modern Ashkenazi is actually Canaanite DNA. And if you understand the Edomites are Esau mixing with the Canaanites.
And there you have it. Once again, like I said, these devils, even if they tell the truth, they still have to mix in a lie. Because what do you mean that the Canaanites are Ashkenazi Jews? And what do you mean by that the Edomites are, Canaanites mixing with Esau DNA? What do you mean by mixing DNA? As we already know, and as has already been established by the men of the Lord through the scriptures, there is no such thing as mixing DNA or mixing seed. You are whatever your father is. So if you are an Edomite, you are an Edomite because your father was Esau Edom, irregardless of whether whether Esau had a Canaanite wife, or whether you are a descendant of Esau's Canaanite wife, you are still the Edomite. Regardless of what wife Esau Edom had you with, okay? Because if you go into the scriptures, Esau had multiple wives, right? At first, he married two daughters of the Canaanites, and so let's go and get that precept. Let's go and get that precept. Where at first Esau married two daughters of the Canaanites. I've forgotten their names exactly, but that displeased that displeased both Rachel and Isaac. So I think that should be Genesis 20. I've forgotten. Just type in Esau and daughters of Canaan, or just type in Esau and Canaan. Let's see. Alright, this is it right here. So I don't want to waste too much time. So yeah, Genesis 36, and I'll start from verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. All right, and the reason why I'm stressing that is because I don't want to start hearing our people now saying that, oh, Esau and Edom are two different people. No, Esau and Edom are the same person, the same spirit, the same individual, which also birthed the nation of Edom, right? The progenitor of the nation of Edom is Esau, which is why the scriptures say Esau is Edom. Now, these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, and the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite, and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. So these are the wives that Esau took for himself, right? So the first two wives that he married were, of course, Canaanites, right? And after seeing how much dealing with these Canaanites displeased both his parents, he eventually went on to marry an Ishmaelite, which is why he had the third wife. And let's see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find that. I don't know exactly where it is, so I'm just going to have to look for it. Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. So that's basically the reason why he's talking about mixing with Canaanites most likely. But even on top of that, even if Esau had married Canaanites, right, a Hittite and a Hivite and an Ishmaelite, his seed, his children will still all be Edomites, right? Because you are whatever nationality and whatever bloodline your father is, that is who you are. Okay. But even with that, these devils, okay, and the people of this world are beginning to, well, of course, they've already been admitting it for a long time, right? But now in the modern time, they are bringing it out as well of who Esau Edom actually is. And it's just like the Elder Malcolm always says, right? The Christians will say the small hearts are Edom, and the small hearts will say the Christians are Esau, right? The Romans are Esau and the white Esau, right? They will see that they are basically pointing at each other. But the thing is that you are both Edomites, okay? You are both Edomites. So let's get a quick precept. This one is probably isn't even going to be that long because there's not really much else to say. So this is the book of Job 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right. And the world has been given into the hand of Esau Edom. That's how we know that the world that who the Edomites are. The wicked is Esau Edom. Okay. So the world has been given into the hand of the wicked, and the wicked naturally, like we said, like the scriptures have already established that the wicked is Esau Edom. So whoever is ruling on the earth today, they are Esau Edom, right? And of course, you know that the rulership of this earth, at the elites of Esau Edom, the so-called red man, the so-called white man, okay, that is ruling over the earth, and they are the ones that have basically destroyed the earth, right? Look no further than what you currently see going on right now between America and Israel, and how they are ganging up on Iran and basically bombing it to oblivion, right? If the state of Israel were truly, the people of the Lord, how is it that they have the power to enforce such military might upon their enemies, right? Would you not be under the hand of your oppressors in this time, especially in these last days? After all, it's not written that the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent taketh it by force, right? Which, of course, as we know, the kingdom of heaven, that's a people before it's a place, and it's referring to the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Now, this is the book of Matthew 11, verse 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent taketh it by force. Can And this is, of course, referring to, like I said, the people before it's a place, right? The elect being under the oppression of Esau Edom, the so called red man. And Esau Edom, of course, includes both the so called white man and the so called small heart, right? Which are claiming to be the people of the Lord. But of course, he did make a great point here where he basically said that the Rothschilds are the shield of Edom, because if you go into the word Rothschild in German, right, the word means red shield, and if you go into the word Edom in the Hebrew, the word Edom means red, right, because their blood shows forth through their skin. So the Rothschilds are so Rothschild basically means shield of Edom, right, and shield in Hebrew I believe is Bakan, right. So Bakan Edom, right, that's basically what the Rothschilds are, the shield of Edom. That's a nomen omen right there. And also, if you remember, like also initially the Rothschilds, their last name was actually Bauer, and of course Bauer means slave, which is exactly what's going to happen because you Edomites are going into slavery. Okay, starting of course with the elites of Esau Edom. So with that, I'm going to end the video right there. Real quick one through the spirits once again. All praises, honor and glory unto the Most High. Yahweh Basham Yahushai Basham Rakakwadash. Wa Abad Babalan through the spirits of Yakim and your acquas were edified. Shalom.